So here's the opening kickoff. It's a nice tackle by our kicker after a pretty nice kick that this guy should have let go out of bounds because it was probably going to go out of bounds. If that's us, you can always just step on the sideline and touch the ball, and then we get it, I think, at the 35 in high school. Could be wrong. I think it's the 35. Emphasis here, running down. Got one slow guy here in the pink socks. I don't know who that is. Got another slow guy here with the pink sleeves. I don't know what it is about pink, but these guys, you stay in your lanes but squeeze down to the ball. So these guys need to be squeezing down, and they're all bunched in at the top when the ball's clear over here on the on this sideline. Outside guys got to stay contained. Widest guy on the field, sure, but squeeze it down so that nobody's outside of you, but you can still want to be as far in as possible while still being the widest guy. I see a couple nice avoids here. See these guys both flip their hips so their butts are pointing towards the sideline, and this guy both avoid butt side, make them turn around. They're unable to make that block. That's why we do that. It's a textbook job. This guy doesn't do so well. He's getting a nice angle. You should put a little cut back to go to the other side. Well, yeah, he gets you on the ground, so that's a nice block for him, even though it's a good collision. I like the collision and the effort, but if you lose your footing, then that's a good block. So other than that, not bad. I think we get a little sloppier as the game progresses, and we're getting more tired. You end up getting blocked here late. Anyway, after that nice avoid. Alright, so they're just running the same stuff that we saw before. Trips right. And we do a pretty nice job here filling gaps. They've just got bodies on bodies. You need to not be driven back. You're getting double teamed. It's always tough to avoid to beat a double team, but if you're getting double teamed, your pad level needs to get low, and you need to just make a pile here. You can't get blown downfield like you are, because that opens up a gap. If you just make a pile, it plugs it up. But that said, whoever this is, Charles maybe, does a nice job. Well, he overruns it. See, he owns his gap. He's 1 yard upfield, 2 yards upfield, and now it's too late. He can't turn back and get back to where he's supposed to be, because they run pretty much right where he was supposed to be. If he just goes here and sits down right now, then that guy's going to run right into his arms. It's a nice play getting off the block and crashing down. Same with this end, who was also there to make the play, Jeff. Except you started by, see, nobody even blocks you. You need to stop right here. Get 2 yards further up than you need to get. Otherwise, you're in on the tackle. But still, you could have been a lot worse. I mean, 2 yards further is a lot better than 5 yards further. So, not the worst thing to happen, and they only get a 1 yard gain. So that's pretty good. Nice job showing the blitz and not coming. This guy, he gets under your chin and walks you back. This is what we want out of our lineman. He's just driving you downfield. That's a really good block by them. I wish I saw that out of our lineman. Note the pull. Linebackers, see this. Go now. Go now. They're running that way. You know they're running that way because they're pulling a guard. Same with this guy. Go uphill, downfield right now. Don't wait. This guy gets annihilated. Jed, I mean, you're 10 yards deep. That's no place for a linebacker to be. That's no good. This is still just a couple yards, but it's a couple yards too many. I mean, they don't have to get those yards. And again, it sets them up for a third manageable that they can convert while running. Too many yards up the middle. They pull the guard again. Again, you should see it. You get blocked. Bad linebacker. It's Jed. Malachi. You should read run sooner. They're coming across. They're basically trapping this end, which is all the more. He doesn't really get too far upfield. I mean, he gets his 2 yards, which is. He just has to be more ready for that to crash down because it's not a big seam. It's just big enough seam. If you don't even get that 2 yards upfield, you're right where you need to be to make the play. Now, it doesn't help that your linebacker's not filling, and this guy's just getting washed. I mean, this is not good. I mean, if I'm their offensive line coach, I'm saying this is brilliant blocking. And they have the angles. The guy who ends up making the play is this, I guess he's technically a linebacker. But up front, and these front 6, so I guess this is part of our front 7, and he's supposed to be blocked by this guy. So this guy beats his block, and that's why the play doesn't go big. I mean, it still gets plenty enough. They get the first down. They get 6 yards. But if I'm their offensive line, I'm saying we're doing an awesome job. I mean, look at all these angles. They're just blowing our guys off the ball. I mean, this is a huge hole because we're all getting washed down. This guy's got a guy right in his chin, and he's being blown back downfield. It's just not good by our up front guys. I don't know if we're supposed to be leaving this guy this wide open. If I was their quarterback, I would just throw to him right now. But anyway, they didn't. And because we haven't had Mal in the box, instead of sliding out on top of him, I think we've got 6 in here, and they've got 6 including their running back, so they can't really. You overrun it, Charles. That's as good as a pancake block for him because you get in your gap and you own it. But then you just overrun it. You're 5 yards upfield. Mal, though, is doing what this guy looks like he's pass blocking. This guy had his head on straight. I mean, this guy looks like he doesn't know the play. If I'm his coach, I'm not happy with him because he just stands there. And Mal does a nice job filling, and they don't really get any yards. Looking along here, and once again, they're pretty much running the same play they've run like 6 times in a row. And once again, we have a pulling guard. Ends up not really getting anywhere, but we should see that and come up right now. The guy cuts back the opposite. I mean, he's obviously intending to run here. These are safety blitzing, which you can blitz a little harder than that. You're kind of getting soft right up towards the. You should be flying in here like a rocket. But that's alright. You come in and absorb a block, force a cutback, and we barely get a hold of him, which is. I mean, we're getting an extra player in there because of our safety blitz. So 3rd and long, and they're going to try the same play again. This time we're actually figuring it out. This is a nice job fighting off a block for whoever. So you're not getting too far upfield. You're still too high, whoever this is. I don't know if this is Ezra or what, but still too high. Helmet's too high, but at least you're holding your ground. You shed a block. And you make the play, which is, that's what we want. 4 Poor loss, and now it's 4th and 7. Now I think we figured out pretty early when this guy's standing by his side, they're throwing it. When he's standing behind, they're running it. It's kind of an obvious tell. I'm not sure why they do that, but probably should have gone to this guy right away, but nice job seeing this and coming up on it. But one of these two guys, I mean, this he could have gotten us here. Our safety's way deep, so this safety 10 yards, well, 11 is like 17 yards deep on 4th and 7, so I think that's a little excessive. And then dropping 5 yards at the snap, I mean, you're 20 yards from all the receivers, so it's hard to imagine how you're going to make a play from that depth. And then when somebody finally does threaten you, look, he's deep. So it's like you're in the opposite place you should be. You're too deep, too deep, too deep. Somebody's finally threatening your zone, and instead of picking him up like you should, the only guy they're sending deep, you're leaving him. I mean, you could have had that guy if you had seen him. And then on the flip side, this guy comes out, which I believe means he's got to be picked up by this guy. And Jaden will have to correct me on this. Maybe it's this guy who needs to come up on here. But basically we have one guy playing two, so he can throw it to this guy who's wide open right now, and he's got a nice chance of making the first down. He comes off this guy. So right now we're rotating over, which means right now we're getting pressure on, which helps our case. Right now he can get this guy, so his coverage on the back end, it's pretty much just straight man, and it looks pretty good. So, but let's not think our coverage is amazing here, because he could have picked this apart. Well, honestly, it's because of our pressure. It's a nice job by Jordan stringing it out and not keeping contained. Contain on the quarterback here. Not allow him to get to the edge. So our offense is up. We're doing our thing now. Like I said, QB sneak on the first play, we get about 4 or 5 yards, which is pretty sweet. Now this is what we were seeing that we were telling you about. That so they've got 3 guys over here. I'm not sure what this is all about. 3 guys over here, 1 guy here. So most of the game we're trying to run, we hadn't figured it out at this stage. We're still kind of doing our script. We were trying to run at this empty open space, so we'll talk about that a lot more later. But this is a nice get off. Look at all the gold helmets moving before the black helmets are up. That's what we want every single time. That's what I talk about on all these videos. And then we're just moving the pile. It's a great first play. It's a kind of garbage spot, actually, because it's hard to see where he is, but you can see we're at least to this 34-yard line. And they spot us at the 45, so they cheat us of a whole yard, but whatever. So here we've got our kitchen sink play. Start with not a great snap, which we really need to get more reps at, especially on your own centers, because we need to clean that up a little. We end up getting no gain on it. So let's take a look at the blocking here. Not a huge reach step, but we're getting wide. There's no need to dip in here. You want to get wide and keep getting wide. I like what the tackle does. Pass this guy off to the inside, but the guard has to be right there. This should look almost like a double team at first, because the tackle gets his wide step and engages, which is fine. Well, he gives some ground, which isn't ideal. It's fine, but then he's got to pass it off to the inside. That's what he's supposed to do. And then this guard should be right there at his hip, ready to take it, because the guard steps and that's kind of the first guy there on his outside gap. So this shouldn't look like a double. It should look like a chip, where these guys should both step, and then this tackle should release off, except this guard needs to stay on it, and it doesn't look like he was ready for it. But that said, he does a fine job staying engaged. Guy ends up getting in on the tackle with, I'm thinking, the guy that my tight end probably should have picked up, or somebody. The tight end dips inside and then turns his back on the guy who. So this is a really textbook example of how this should work and almost does. He hits him, and then he goes inside, so he lets him off to the tackle. Tackle picks him up, except he's still fixated on him. So his back is to the guy that he should be blocking. The guy that he should be blocking ends up coming, and guess who makes the tackle? That guy. Now our lead blockers are not really helping us out here, because it would be nice if the first thing they did is pick up leakage. And part of the problem, that bad snap, look at the distance between the lead blockers and the back. So the lead blockers are way out in front, and they run by a couple guys that could probably use some help, and instead end up blocking, well, blocking nobody really. Neither of these guys block anybody. And it's because they're too far in front of the running back. This is a nice job by the Jetman, really, of hitting this guy and blowing him back. But this guy still manages to force it inside. In an ideal world, we'd want this to be, instead of like a big, fat, slow cutback, to just keep on your nice curve and run in here. But because this guy's got beat, so this guy got beat by the guard isn't good enough on there. So I mean, it's just kind of a couple one-on-ones that really make the difference in that play working versus not working. Boy, it'd be nice to run this play with a reverse, where we just have the Jetman stick his foot in the ground and then reverse back here, because look at how hard all this flow is going this way. We'd have basically just a one-on-one with that guy if we ran that play. So what's done is done. It looks like we're trying to run 23, and for some reason, but we're trying to run 34 here. Well, I don't know what we're trying to do, but either way, or there's a miscommunication here. So quarterback takes it right in the hole, which is what he should do every time, because there is a hole here. This guard is being a little too passive. You should fire. I mean, this guy's going away from the play. It's like you're fixated on blocking this guy. He leaves, and you just kind of sit up there and play patty cake with where he was before. Whereas if he leaves and then you fire off downhill and block this guy, then we have ourselves a play. And our bleed back and pick up this guy. But hey, I mean, we get almost 5+ yards on this. Now it's 4th and 2. Again, this big wide hole here. If we run QB sneak, I'd like to see you just bounce it a little bit to the right where they don't have guys. But hey, we can move the pile 7 yards or whatever and get an easy first down, so that's a good thing. Got the fly. We want to see what they're doing. Not sure what happens here. This is where we fumble. Oh no, we just try to run another quarterback sneak. Again, especially after we've run, and you'll get a feel for this the more reps you take, Landon. This little bounce to the right here. Look at how big a hole there is. There's a play in there. Wesley, you've got to get your hat on the left side of this guy. Is that, I don't know if that's Wesley. Looks like it is. Get your hat on the left side of that guy so he can't crash down and make the play. But we have a seam on the right if you just bounce it just a shade over. But hey, we still get an ugly yard or two. Well, maybe just one. So I believe the call here is 34 bootleg left. No, maybe it's 23 pass, I'm not sure. If it is, more depth, less width. You don't get any depth at all. You're standing right at the 36-yard line at the snap of the ball, and you just run sideways here. There's a lane. I mean, there's a guy out here, and you got a blocker out here. There's a lane if you just want to run. But that's not a bad play. I mean, you let your playmaker go have a one-on-one out there, and that's never a bad option. I mean, this is not by any means a bad play. I'll take this matchup any day of the week, and he breaks a tackle or two and gets a couple yards. Let me take one more. I don't think we had any other routes there. Technically, we should, though. If we call a bubble, backside drag, tight end. I don't know how many times I've needed to say this. Backside drag. There's almost no way you're not open. You should be right in here. You can let this bubble develop, all the flow go this way, and boom, touchdown. But again, not a bad play. We just got to be on top of these things. There's the fumble. Just running a 34 lead. Again, our get-offs on the count. We needed to do more mixing up the count here, because we're not getting off any harder than these guys. And I don't know what happens here. What's the deal? We got two guys. Neither of them decide. Neither of them just. These two guys run right through the middle of both of these guys. Guard tackle. Whiff. Whiff. I don't know what you guys are doing here. It's like you both decided to get together and be like, all right, let's double team the safety. Let's bypass the end, bypass the linebacker, go straight to the safety, then play patty cake with him a little bit. I don't know. There's only, these two guys are the only guys on this side of the ball. I mean, you block these two guys, lead blocker lights up the safety. We've got a touchdown. I mean, we have so many more guys on this side of the ball than they do. This is basically walled off, guard on down. 1, 2, 3 against 1, 2, 3, and then we've got an extra ball carrier. This should be a touchdown. And we don't block either one of these guys. And then the first guy comes in, makes the play, forces the fumble. Oh man, that's, I don't know what, I just don't know. I can't think of any reason why you do this. It's like you're trying to pass him by and they both run right between you guys. It's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Oh man, I don't know who that is. I think Mike's the tight end, and I don't know who the tackle is. But
you don't need to, but you're
there's a touchdown off the board. No, geez, just tackling. Gotta get that guy on the ground. I don't know what to say beside that. I mean, we're sending guys. Nicely timed blitz. It looks like this guy's getting blocked a little bit. Yeah, this guy's just getting dominated. And I don't know who that is, but he's getting dominated. Everybody else is owning their gaps and not getting too far upfield, really. I mean, the two guys who are you're here making the tackle, whoever these two guys are, and then you miss the tackle, so lo and behold, you're upfield. And he only gets a yard still, but it could have been a tackle for loss there. Now they're throwing because this guy's standing here. It's just a simple stop play. And nice job by the end, recognizing quickly this guy's getting double teamed. You got to stick your, as soon as, I mean, you should be watching the quarterback. You should already be going uphill as this ball's coming out. Got to get up as fast as possible. Outside leverage, force it back in. You can't miss to the inside, which I don't think you do. I think he goes out of bounds. So, it's a nice catch. So they've got, yeah, too deep, and then they're just sending this guy as a little crosser. So safety, you got to be mindful of the deep threats. I mean, these guys are doing a nice job. Yeah, that's just a nice athletic play. I mean, you're playing the shallow crosser, which at some point I think you got. Well, no, I mean this is a pretty perfect job because you're passing him off to this linebacker, the middle. I don't know if there's talk here, reading the quarterback size, get in the throwing lane. Because I mean, if you don't make this catch, well, the safety's there, but that's a pretty big play for them. So anyway, that's a nice job. An extremely impressive catch. So now we gotta put this away here. We go back to this 34. They still got this big wide open thing here. Now it looks like we actually decide to block this guy. But for some reason our tackle's leaving, so we lose the angle here. Our tackle passes him by, leads him to our tight end who now has the wrong angle. His head's on the right side instead of the left side. And then he eats up our lead blocker and kind of makes the tackle too. I mean, he's like the only guy on this side of the ball. Because this guy doesn't make the play. He's the only guy who can make the play here. We're running in this hole. And somehow, I mean, we get a couple yards. It's not a bad play. Well, we get like 1 yard. But again, that should be easy pickings. Now, as coaches, I wish we had already figured out this thing, but we haven't. We're running the side they're all stacked up on. So, again, let's check in on the snap here. We're getting off, same as them. And we have deep penetration almost immediately. Hard to tell where this guy comes from. Looks like he's coming from inside the right tackle. He just slides right off, and then this guy continues on his. So I don't know if he thought this was a chip or what. We're just running past guys. I mean, I like when you get to the next level, but not if there's a guy right in front of you that you're not blocking. I mean, he just runs right past, makes a tackle in the backfield. Our guy didn't have a chance. And then this guy gets in on the action too, from all the way across the play. I mean, these guys are just mean, we talk about firing off and moving people. This guy's just owning his gap, driving our guy into the backfield, getting in on the tackle. It's not as much missed assignment as just getting beat hard. So that's the quarter. No, that's not the quarter. Not sure why. We have, not sure what we're running here. Both are tight. Oh, this should be 8-3. Hello. This is 8-3. 8 right now. Boom. Throw it to him. Also, I don't think I talked about this enough. But if you're running the drag, make sure you don't pinch. If you've got an 8 on the other side, you don't want to pinch towards it. You want to keep good spacing. And how that would work is the 8 would clear and the drag would come on underneath it. But, excuse me, I guess this is blue. So blue 8-3, you just keep you're not running a backside drag. You're also running an 8, which means you just need to keep it tall. So, I mean, couldn't have called a better route here. If you can throw it right now. But that said, I don't know if you even can throw it right now. Pre-snap, though, I mean, look at what you've got. This is something you need to look at, quarterback, and pre-snap know exactly what you are doing. Because this guy is gonna be open. This guy is almost 14 yards off the ball. And this guy's right on the line of scrimmage. This guy's right on the line of scrimmage. These are the only guys who can cover him. And they're on the line of scrimmage about to rush the passer. So you catch and you throw to this big 6'5" tight end, and he goes up and gets it. He's looking right now like he should be. Ball should be in the air already. But our protection has got to be better. So I'm pretty sure this is blue. But man, I mean, this bull rush on the center. This guy's walking you right back into the quarterback. This guy. So I'm assuming this has to be Roger the way we're blocking it. And I say that because the left guard leaves his outside gap. But I see so if it is Roger, center should be sliding right, and you should be going down here. But we need to be blocking first threat first, which for this tackle, it's this guy. And you need to communicate that. Just point out who you're getting. Because the guard has somebody inside him. So you need to get this guy inside the guard. But if we are blocking Roger, our backs are going the wrong way. So this is a missed assignment by somebody, and I don't know who. Because it looks like the line's blocking Roger, and if that's the case, see, I don't know if this is it. It looks like the backs are running a 34 lead pass. And if that's the case, then it's got to be Larry, in which case the line's doing it all wrong. Because nobody, either way, if it's Roger, tackle, you got to block first threat first, and you're looking at this guy when you should be looking at this guy. Looking at this guy instead of this guy. Because the guard is blocking inside here, if it's Roger, again. So you need to pick up this guy who ends up being one of the guys at the quarterback. Again, if it's Roger, you have to block wide. The tackle doesn't really block anybody. The tackle should pick up this guy, and theoretically, if they're blocking one more than we can, sending one more than we can block, which they're not because they have two guys over here who are not rushing. But one of our backs can pick this up as long for sure. If we're blocking Roger, one of the backs' emphasis has to be on this side, and the other just blocks. Because if they're sending two guys off the edge, obviously our tackle can only pick up one of them. He picks up neither of them, very unhelpfully, and so the one of the backs picks up the other one. And then they have a free run at the quarterback, which even still, this is exactly the route. We call this a hot route. If they're coming with a free rusher, which sometimes happens even with the best pass protection, because sometimes they send one more than we can block, this is the perfect throw. Catch and throw right here. It's the perfect route to have on as a tight end. It's an easy throw right over his head. It's a tight end looking right now. And we work on that a lot, actually, is hitting the tight ends in the pop pass. And it's a really good play for us. I still kind of failing to understand. It seems like we're surprised ourselves when we run a reverse. I see my guys out here blocking, and it's like they're not expecting the ball to come back towards them. It's like, whoa, he's coming, what do I do now? And he's spinning all over the place instead of just sitting out here waiting for these guys to come and then making a block. Like, why are you chasing the play down? This guy. I don't understand. We called a reverse. We should know what's happening. So why are we all running down this way? It's like, let the guys go. Maybe we need to drill this more. I don't know. Maybe we haven't much. But this seems like it should be pretty obvious. We all look surprised and like, oh, okay, we got to go over here and block. It's like, of course we do. We called a reverse. So we kind of nominally block our Larry, and then we should just set up and wait. Make a wall. We should drill this, now that I'm thinking about it, because this play is really close to going for a touchdown. We have two guys. Look, if these two guys just hang out back here and block 1, 2, and we're all running right. It's like we're all chasing the play like we don't know that it's a reverse. I don't get it. I do not get it. This is not good effort. Should be getting downfield and hitting somebody. Oh, we could have converted this 4th and 20, and instead we don't, because we just, I don't know, standing around. But we get them backed up. Still running the same old play. This is what we want to see from the defensive end. You don't actually have to back up. I'm not sure why he backs up. He thinks he's playing some sort of coverage. But he's just settling in and waiting for the guy to come to him. I would like to, this is almost the opposite of getting too far upfield. You're kind of backing yourself up a little bit, so I don't know why you wouldn't get, 1 full yard deep, because nobody really blocks you. And then you can make the play for no gain instead of a 2-yard gain. But hey, you're settling in. That's what happens when you don't over pursue. You just settle in, play comes to you, and you make the play. Simple, simple. Okay, so now they've got a jet sweep, which is maybe the first different play they've run. Settling, it's the same thing. The play's coming right to you. Shove your guy off. And you don't have to make the play because your guy in front of you does. And that's a nice, again, we're not getting nobody's getting too far upfield. You're just kind of sliding off your block, chasing straight down the line of scrimmage. Make the play for, a 1-yard gain. We can live with 1-yard gains on defense. Now they're in their passing formation. We know they're going to pass. And we've got it covered up pretty nice. Might have been a little hold here. The NFL, they're calling that. I don't know if they'll call that in high school. Watch enough NFL that they call that all day long. It's a little hook on him. 4th and 5. Passing again. Flush him out. Again, I'm not sure what the coverage concept is here, but there's got to be communication. If this is a cover 2 sort of thing where we're switching, corner's got to come right up and fill this. And the quarterback should be hitting him right now, but our pressure is getting to him. And our end, see, you're not getting too far upfield, which once you know they're passing, that doesn't apply so much, but you're also losing your outside leverage. This guy blocks you inside. Otherwise, you can string this out and be right in his face in the passing lane, potentially knock this down or something, at least make it a tougher throw. But yeah, I mean, this, it looks like neither, because so this guy's sort of following him. I mean, if, I don't know what's supposed to happen. Either this guy needs to spring up and cover this guy, and he needs to continue dropping with this guy, or else if it's more of a man thing, you need to be chasing him and not playing the quarterback so much. But this guy totally loses, Nolan totally loses sight of this guy. Which makes me think it's not so much of a man thing. This guy probably could have had him if he's not under duress. Don't try to dip inside. Almost got the best of you, but you did okay. Defensive end. That's the time they tried to get us. Didn't work. Now they're in the running formation. Got to wrap up. Get right in the backfield immediately. You just run right past this guy. Got to wrap up and have the tackle. It's alright, your buddy's bailed you out. But again, Jordan, it's a great job. Just sitting here. You're sitting here, you're owning your gap, you're not getting driven downfield. Ultimately, this tackle probably goes to the linebacker, but it's because you forced him inside and you're right there. Doing what you should be doing. 3rd and long. Run the ball again. Gotta wrap up again. Don't necessarily blame you as much for getting so far upfield since it's a really obvious passing down and they're running a draw. But nice job by Jeff not getting sucked into that, especially because, I mean, this is almost perfect. He doesn't get blocked. He shuffles down the line and he misses the tackle. So that part isn't perfect. But as far as like not getting downfield like we talk about, if he just blazes out here like he thinks it's a pass, it's going to be a big old seam to run a long ways. He at least gets enough of a piece of him that we can finish this off. Down and 9. They're going for it. Nice pressure here. Way to force the bad throw. He rolls. It's a bad job by their quarterback. Well, it's forced by you just slide right off this guy. That's why the quarterback has to get flushed out. That's really our nose guard. Who's that? I think it's maybe Malik. No. Who's this? Ez, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's Ez. That's a really nice job. Especially in an obvious passing situation. Doing what you need to do. Alright, so we've got the jet pass and a 6, I believe.
Bug, stop.
Or maybe it's... Could have had this all day, and we come back to this later, and that it's a big one that we miss. But I'm never upset to get it to this guy right now. I mean, he's open. You put it out there, he's going to score a touchdown. But let's look at the time we have to throw now. Quarterback, this is mostly on you. This protection isn't actually that bad.
Ridiculous.
If you get more depth and less width, look at your angle coming right off the ball, quarterback. Your line is, you're standing at, right between the 34, 35. You're kind of running right down the line. If you bubble back here and get more depth and a little less width,
stop.
It's a lot easier on these angles. Now, it'd be really not, because we have 2 guys here to block 2 guys. So first thing, it'd be nice if this guy stayed attached. But next, if you can stay behind these blockers and be sitting right back here instead of way to the outside, now you're looking at this guy. And honestly, this guy's a lot more open than this guy. I mean, he's open. You can get it there. It's an easy throw and catch, and we obviously get a couple yards. But whew, there's a touchdown. Now, the question of the day is, where's the backside drag? Our backside drag is standing here, hopping up and down, not blocking anybody. He should be right in here. He might not be open because they've got a lot of guys in here, but he'd be floating right in this little pocket here. And even if he's not open, he maybe sucks in a defender that makes that play better. But that's still a good play. But that's mostly a new quarterback. I mean, it's his first time, but more depth, less width. Well, or just more depth. More depth and no less width would be fine too. Direct, 38 lead. This is beautifully run. This tackle does exactly what he should do. He takes a step out. The guy goes inside, so he keeps going to the next level. He could go to the next level even faster and then pick up this guy rather than kind of getting run past. But our defense or our tight end is going up, and we're moving this guy downfield. In fact, our tight end ends up blocking 2 guys. My one gripe would be these guys need to get the first time I think we ran this when it was to Bill. These 2 lead blockers were way far in front. This time they actually get ran past. So he ends up overrunning it, where if they can get out in front of him, we might score a touchdown. But hey, that's a great play. First down. Come back and run quarterback sneak. They've got all these guys up close to the line. This is a great call on first down. We get great movement. Let's look at this slow. No, we could be getting a better jump. We certainly could be getting a better jump there, but we're moving people. I mean, our tackle's moving that guy 5 yards downfield, so that's easy money. Just straight 34. And again, we're moving people. The line of scrimmage is the 5. Ball's right on the 5. Watch our guys. This is good. We're smelling the end zone. I mean, our whole O-line is standing in the end zone. That's why we score. Our whole O-line has a body on somebody, and we're pushing them downfield. This is how it should look. We need a hat between him and the ball, so this guy can't run it down. Tight end. That's the only guy who has a chance. And then it looks like we miss a block with our tackle here. Again, your head needs to be. You can't let this guy take that gap. But other than that, the core of our line is in the right spot, doing the right thing. This is a great job getting the snap up. Inside gap, inside gap. Where does this guy go? What are you watching? He just walks right in your inside gap like it's no big thing. Here we have inside gap, and at least we're fighting him. I mean, we can't get our shoulders. Well, you put the guy on the ground. And then here, I mean, this again, you have one job on this, and it's inside gap. Normally, I say to Jeff here, don't move your legs, because again, you leave this seam in here. In this case, since it took us a little bit of extra time to get this off, it's good that you did that, because otherwise they might black this. But that's a great job getting that hold up. It's a good job by the kicker. You double clutch this because the timing's screwed up, and you still get the kick through. That's a really outstanding. But I mean, we can't have this. This could be the difference in winning and losing. This is points here. We can't just miss assignments like this, and we can't let it be overpowered so much that this guy comes right through here. We got to do a better job with that. But we get the point. Nice job, kicker. And this is another really nice boot. Thing dies right on the 3-yard line. That's incredible. Now here, I mean, hey, we get him down at the 15. What could be better than that? Well, I'll tell you. This is where... Why are we slowing down? Look at this. You can run faster than this. Why are you slowing down at the 20? Go pin this guy at the 5. Look. The kicker, who starts out behind everybody because he's the kicker, this is, well, he starts out slow, but that's full speed. The kicker should not end up outrunning everybody, especially when he didn't even start fast. I mean, he can start sprinting sooner. Even he's not running full speed at the beginning here. This is not full speed, and now he's starting to crank it up. Now he's starting to sprint. But like, this is not full speed, that's not full speed, that's definitely not full speed. If we're all running full speed, we get him at the 5 rather than 15. Again, at the top, we gotta squeeze it down. I mean, this is definitely not full speed. That stinks. It's a great play, but man, we could have gotten 10 more yards of field position. That'd be huge. I mean, we're getting a safety right there because he's out of the back of the end zone if we back him up a little bit. It's a great job by Dean. Staying on top of that because this guy scrambles around for a while. If you're blitzing, you got to come, Bill. You can't be so soft in here, kind of dancing around. You got to get there and get there now. And we can't lose contain defensive end. So first thing, when we know it's a pass, yeah, you can go inside, but take outside leverage because you're last line of defense on the outside. So if you miss, you got to miss to the outside, not to the inside. Coverage goes to a scramble drill, so looks like we've got it pretty well. This guy's hooked up. Nolan's got him. That's a nice pass breakup by Dean. That saves us a big play. Now they're going to run it again. This is a great job by Jordan, not over pursuing. He gets up here. He's not even blocked. I don't know why this guy doesn't block him. But I bet this guy doesn't block him because he thinks, oh, Jordan's just going to take himself out of the play. I don't even need to bother because Jordan's going to come flying up here and the running back's just going to run right inside him. That's probably what he's thinking, but Jordan's too smart for that because we've been coaching this all the week before. He gets 2 yards up, which is right here, and slides down, and he's right there to make the play. Isn't it a beautiful thing when you play technically sound? Note the guard pulling. Middle linebacker, you should see that right away, and you should be coming down right away to meet that guy. And get in on this pile and make sure they don't move too far. They're in their passing set because this guy, even though they fake it, and that's a great job sniffing that out. I mean, they don't block anybody. This play doesn't have a chance. And that's just because we've got our heads up and we're being smart on the outside here. If we put our heads down and are focusing on our guys, these guys might slide inside. This guy might not be so quick. But it's a really quick play. If you're distracted by the run action or whatever, that's a really nice job, just being heads up. I mean, that's not a lot of technique there. That's just... So we got a punt, 4th and long. Short punt, out of bounds, great field position. Once again, to emphasize, if going back to the kickoff, if we had gotten 5-10 more yards of field position, first of all, we might get a safety on that drive. Second of all, that makes this punt a lot more jammed up because the punter's at the back of the end zone. So that might not seem a big deal, but that's a huge kick by our kicker, and if we put in just a little bit more effort, we might end up with a safety here or a blocked punt or something good. With this, you guys can't be beat when you're double teaming a guy. You can't be beat to your side. So, I mean, this is a total failure just because you get beat. You got to force him back inside to the other guy. Both of you have to be thinking, he's not going to beat me to my side. On the other side, well, we don't have... We're kind of not set there, so we don't... I'm not even sure what the deal there is.
All right. Let's get you ready for bed.
Going back to our bread and butter. 34 lead. This is just a linebacker fit. So, if we're running 34, which I'm pretty sure we are, I guess it's 33, sorry. Lead back, got to be blocking in the 3 hole. You block outside, and this linebacker fills inside where he's supposed to. Kind of break that tackle, but still. Oh, I guess, is this a fumble? Yeah, there's a fumble here. If you come right downhill in here and blow this guy out, now we've got ourselves a seam. This isn't blocked badly up front. We're washing this guy down as the tackle. Oh, we've got a bus. I see. We've got a bus, and we're running to the weak side because we're trying to exploit that big hole. But I remember why we ran this, because we thought they were stacking our bus side when we saw this big hole. We actually should be running 34 here. But even still, if we lead block in the hole, we've got no problem here. So now we're back on defense. They get a big break there. That should be a touchdown drive for us if we hang on to the football. That's just nice coverage on the hitch. They're running all hitch. Stay tight. And we've got the D. They send one vertical on a post. Just got to throw that away. Again, defensive end. Be very careful dipping inside. You end up getting back outside, and that's a good thing. But especially with a quarterback that loves to roll right, by this time we should know that he does. Just be careful there. I mean, you were careful enough, and you ended up getting back to the outside and not giving it up, so that's a good thing. Same thing there, defensive end. Looks like you get a hand on it. I don't know who he's throwing to anyway. He didn't have anybody open. I mean, covered. Covered across the board, covered back here. It's good coverage. I mean, this is where it really feels like we're starting to dominate this team. I mean, look at this. We got 4 guys pretty much free rushing at the quarterback. He's running for his life, and he's got not a single person blocking downfield. This guy doesn't know what the play is. He's thinks they're running the ball. And just like that, we force a punt. Come on. We just talked about, well, you do a better job, but still. If this touches him Nolan. I don't really mind that you're up there as long as you're careful, a little bit more careful than that. But if this touches white, I don't know if it does, but I assume you know this. If this touches white, just grab it. No matter what, grab it and try to go. If you're not sure, get out of the way like you do. The double team up top looks like it. I mean, he basically tries to go out of bounds. Well, he still runs around you. I mean, we've got to do a better job of that. If we're going to double team, we've got to really handle that guy. And that is a sloppy job. And you call that a block? Come on. That's not going to do anything to anybody. So that fumble, we were somewhere up here before, now we're back here. That fumble lost us 20, 30 yards of field position, even though our defense was rock solid. So now we're trying to pound it a little bit. Again, like I said last drive, we're starting to dominate them, offense and defense. We're wearing them down. So let's just give it to a big fullback, get yards up the middle. Just like a quarterback sneak, we should be firing off the ball. Looks like our tight end is, and then everybody else is. This guy looks like he gets right past the center and the guard and is on our guy in the backfield. This is just all running back dragging this guy for a couple yards, maybe just one, but that guy's in the backfield, quick penetration. It's just getting off the ball and get in front of him. Simple stuff. Go the other way, which is the way we should have gone. Well, they don't have that wide open defense again. Look at everybody all up on the line of scrimmage. I mean, if we can pass the ball a little bit more effectively, which we do later, they can't do this. But all the same, this one we don't get the early penetration. Well, maybe we do a little bit from the backside, but we get just enough of a piece of this guy that we can run by him. Everybody else, we're blocking downfield. I mean, this is a nice job. You're blocking this guy 5 yards downfield before he's able to get there. Now we want to try the outside. We're faking this dive here. Trying the outside, and it looks like interior penetration gets us. Looks like this tackle, is it? Taking wide steps. This tackle can't get enough of a piece of him. It's as simple as that. That guy just wins his one-on-one, shoots this gap, and is able to make a play. I mean, we just got to be better than that. Now this, so I mean, we should have had the first down right there. Now this is where I called 54 on the wristband, which is quarterback sneak, and we read 53 on the wristband, which is 58, which is not a great 4th and short play. And we're not running it right at all. I mean, it's not a great 4th and short play, but hey, still a good play. We could get this. But all our guys are blocking down inside. If we're blocking 58, we're coming out here to try to get this guy, and we're faking opposite way. Nobody carries out a fake. And our tight end just kind of, instead of taking a big reach step, which ideally, as I've said before, especially on jet sweep, we want to get all the way out to this corner. But even if we do, and he strings it out, there has to be some sort of cut up in there, but since none of our line is stepping out, we're all blocking that way for some reason, there's nobody to pick up these guys. So even if he cuts up inside these guys, we've got more guys there to make the play. I mean, look, there's 5 white jerseys over here. This guy's not even supposed to be here, so it's basically 5-2. And this guy doesn't really end up blocking anybody, so that's just a mental lapse. I don't know if the guy who ran the play in said the wrong number. I don't know if the quarterback heard the wrong number. Maybe I said the wrong number, but still, that's... And I can blame myself for not calling a timeout. when we started motioning. But anyway, back on defense. Watch this pulling guard. Don't overrun it. If you sit in here, settle, and go flat down the line, you're going to run right into the ball carrier. See? That's where you would have been. If you were disciplined and you just jump in this guy's pocket, follow him down. Oh look, ball carrier. Ball carrier is following him because they always follow with pulling guards. Always, always, always. Instead, you just overrun it. You run yourself right out of the play. And they get a really nice gain here on first down. I mean, we're dominating these guys a couple possessions ago, and we make a couple bad mental errors. Now all of a sudden, we can't seem to do anything. Linebackers, you should also see this pulling guard. So Charles, you need to step in here, but you guys should also be coming in here filling because you know that that guard is going to take you to the ball. Second down and short-ish. Again, pulling guard. I don't know if that's what you saw or you're just, I guess you're being sent anyway. And that's a well-timed blitz. Because I believe this guy, no, sorry, this guy. This is basically like our trap play, except they're blocking the widest guy where we like to block the inside guy. So this guy should pick you up. Instead, he picks the outside guy up. And because of your blitz, he never sees you. Do we get a penalty here? Why did they get the ball so close? Oh, this was the terrible face mask call. Let's see if we can see this in slow motion, because I saw this on the field. Both your hands are good right now. I guess this hand comes down. Doesn't really touch anything or do anything. Yeah, there's nothing there. I don't know if they're saying because it's on his shoulder pad, and then it slides off his shoulder pad onto nothing, and he never grabs anything. Yeah, that's just a garbage call. Maybe not the worst one we get, but still not a good call. So now it's second and short. They're able to run right up the middle. Again, pulling guard. Don't run yourself out of the play. Different guard, I'm not sure who that is. But stop right now. Come flat down the line. Right in this guy's pocket, and boom. You should be standing right there tackling the guy. Simple as that. Especially if they keep doing this over and over again. You need to be more in control because you're coming up so fast that that's a really easy block to make, and you create a big seam. I mean, you're starting line of scrimmage is the 34 here, and you're shooting up field. Or sorry, I'm looking at this nose guard, Christian, I think it is. You're shooting up field, and you're 3 yards up, and the ball carrier's passed you by. And you haven't done anything besides leave a seam where you're supposed to be. This is a nice job squeezing it down. See, this again, Jordan had a great game. Your guy leaves, you squeeze it down, you don't get depth, and you make it really hard for this pulling guard to make a good block. Because he's hoping, this guy is just hoping you're going to be undisciplined and you're going to fly upfield and he can just easily wash you out. But you don't do that. You recognize you're not being blocked, so you squeeze it down, you don't get upfield, and you're there to make the tackle. I could have called face mask on him. That would be a better face mask call than the one on the last play, because he's definitely grabbing Jordan's face mask there. But they only need 1 yard, so I think they get it. At least they give it to him. I don't know if they actually got it, but they gave it to him. And that's just a really great catch by Bill. This guy thinks he can get a quick one because he's not really watching the safety. And we have safety help there, so that's a good job knowing where your help is and forcing the guy to your help. Still can probably get a quicker turn and run there and be more in his hip pocket, but still, it's a nice job by Bill. Be really careful here. They can call this. This is illegal in high school. First of all, if it's behind the play, which it's not quite, that guy's definitely in, can make a tackle. But these blindside blocks, I'd rather see you just wall this guy off, because if you just stand in front of him and make a screen, he's still not going to make the tackle. But if that hit is too vicious, they can throw a personal foul on that, because that's just what the rule is in high school. So be careful. So now we've got a chance to get our offense back on track. I believe we have 8. I don't know what we have. It looks like we're running the wrong thing over here. And we're not running our backside drag. We have 23 pass. I don't know if this is supposed to be 3-8 or I don't know what this is, because it looks like he's running a slant. Or maybe he's not supposed to be going out for a pass. Maybe it's just a slant. But this is tough to see because he's so far in here. And it's also why we like to get the slant to the wide side, which we're kind of in the middle to the right. So if we have a little bit more space. But the sooner you throw this, the better off you are, because if again we're wide side and this linebacker is that much further away, I mean, give him credit. He does a nice job. He gets to the right spot and makes a really athletic play there. So that's a nice job by him, and that's not an easy play to make, and he made it. So credit where credit's due. So I mean, this is several bad series on offense of both unfortunate and just stupid mistakes. So here they're running the same play, same pulling guard. This time there's nobody really here to jump in his pocket because we're out one man over. You're running yourself out of the play too easily. Ezra, I think that is. And look, you're starting on the 20. And then watch how far upfield you get. You're on 4 yards upfield, and before you're able to turn around because you got run by. And you're washed down. So, I mean, now all of a sudden there's a seam in here. This guy, Jordan, again, is doing a great job not getting too far upfield, squeezing it down, taking on this block without giving up ground, and he tightens that down. So where Ezra left a big hole by getting too far upfield and getting washed, Jordan's managed to squeeze that same hole down a little bit to minimize the damage. And then we have you do not want linebacker, you want to shed this to your to this side, to the outside, because if you take the path of least resistance, as you do, because he's trying to force you, he's trying to get his helmet on your right, well, your left side, his right side, because that's where they're running. They want to run the ball right in here, so that's where he wants to put his hat, because he's hoping you're going to take the easy way instead of fighting across his face and getting this way. He wants you to go this way, because if you go that way, you can't make the play, because you're going to be too slow. He's forcing you that way, and you fall for it. You take the path of least resistance, and you can't get there. So this ends up just being a nice job by Nolan, reading run, coming up, making a tackle. But still, they get a solid couple yards out of it. Guess what play they're running? Same exact one. Looks like Charles kind of has enough of it. He knows what's coming. I don't know if that was because he read the guard or whatever. But he sees, if he's reading the guard, he would do what he does. He sees it going that way. He sheds the guy to that side and gets off a block. I mean, this is a really great play. And again, it's a nice job by Jordan. Kind of gets popped by Charles here, but not getting too far upfield. taking on this block, squeezing it down, forcing it in. And because their interior's kind of doing their job, even though this guy's running himself out of the play again. I mean, how many times are we going to do this and we'll whiff on the play before we just settle down? Alright, so now we've got pass here, which obviously your overrunning, getting too far upfield, is more appropriate on 3rd and 7 when they're in their passing set. But look who's still, even on 3rd down, overruns it, too far upfield, bad angle. Look what happens, you're beat. Lose contain, you're beat. If all you do is come up here a couple yards and go flat down the 20-yard line, this guy's not so fast. If you're going right down here, well, look where you're going to be. Right there, no gain. Probably a 2-yard loss, really, but maybe a 4-yard loss. Instead, you miss the tackle. It's just a nice job sticking with his man by Dean. This is a nice job by Jordan, again keeping contain and taking a good angle so that he'll wall this guy off if it comes to it. And pretty much everybody else helping on there. And that's pretty well covered up all the way across the board. So, our last couple offensive series against a better team would have just buried us. And that could have been a couple offensive series that just puts us right out of the game. Our defense kept us in it, but as you recall, a few possessions ago, we had the ball at like the 30-yard line when we fumbled. And then we fumbled again, and then we threw an interception. So now we're trying to get something going here. It's right before half. So we want to do something nice and safe where we just have a regular toss. And we get a really nice gain out of it. At least we're padding our stats. And this, it's just 38. I mean, we're not caring about the fake reverse. We're just running 38 on the line. And then this, I don't know what that, because we call a timeout and we call 18 lead, and then our quarterback decides to run left. So it's pretty hard to game plan for that. This is also not good. Center. And if we get right out there, this guy, we need, when we're making these reach blocks and this guy goes to our outside, you've got to attach to him. If he's your outside gap, which that's always your responsibility, attach to him and ride him out. We only want you going to the next level when a guy passes you to the inside. That's when you pass him off to your next. So I guess that's Jeff there, so that's why Nathan's going up to the next level. But Jeff, I mean, you're not slow. Goodness gracious. This guy's not so much faster and more. He's a defensive lineman. He's not so much faster and more athletic than you that he can run past you and run so fast that you can't even catch him. Stay attached to him and drive him out of the play, because if we're running that way and you stay attached just to that guy, I think we're going to have a play here. Because if you're attached to this guy, I think we've got a big old running lane here with 2 lead blockers here. And we can take this for 70 yards, which is what we need to do on the last play of the half. So anyway, our ball coming out of halftime. Let's look at this front line. This is exactly what we don't want to see. We're really slow, and we probably block a guy in the back there. This is a better example of what we want to see, I think. Sprinting back, sprinting back, sprinting back. Now the ball carrier is coming towards you. You don't block anybody. Well, you block somebody eventually, but at least you're part of the solution, because you're making people avoid you. Whereas here, And here to an extent. I mean, you don't need to turn up and block somebody. That we're whiffing almost across the board. That's a nice block. And almost a broken tackle. This is a really nice return. And then a completely uncalled for hit at the end. Yeah, I mean, that's easy. For a ref, although never say easy, because some refs blow that type of stuff. So that's 15 yards more for us. Alright. New half, time to get things in gear, put these guys away. We've been outplaying them all game, we've been dominating them at points. We're only up 7-0. We already have figured out this weird, huge gap in there. I'm not sure what that was about. And I'm not sure what the method to which side of the field they put this gap on. That's why I'm not sure if we're running to the right side. But hey, when we don't have penetration, look, our guys we're blocking people downfield. I mean, we got linemen 10 yards downfield blocking guys. That's awesome. As long as we're not getting just beat off the ball like this, I mean, that's almost a play in the backfield for a loss, just because our guard can't step fast enough. I mean, it's as simple as that. You step in that spot, and you block that guy. We don't have extra wide splits. You need to get your hat on the other side of him. If I'm his coach, guess what I'm telling him? Don't over pursue, get flat down the line, and make the tackle right here instead of right here, and it's an easy tackle here, where it's a missed tackle here. But everybody else, at the point of attack, is blocking right, and then yet another fumble, I think. But we managed to get on top of it. Same play. Same play, same way. This time you wised up. Left right guard, which I think is John Paul. Your helmet's still on the wrong side of him. Well, maybe he's wising up because he's not getting so far downfield. Either way, that's kind of sloppy play by him, but still, if you take a hard step to the inside and get your helmet on the other side of him, you've got a good thing going. I like this. That's a nice job, getting downfield and playing to the whistle. They send an extra guy around the edge, which wouldn't be a problem. We just lose our one-on-one here. I mean, they send two guys at you, so you gotta block one of them. And honestly, you kind of do a pretty good job here. Normally, if we're running 34, which this is, here's our big problem. Pad level's high. This guy's under our center's chin, driving him back. If we stonewall this guy on the line of scrimmage, maybe we need a chip from the guard on him. I guess he chips this guy. If we stonewall that guy, now we're not forced so far outside, and we can run right in here where the play is supposed to go, and we've got a good seam. So that's, I would put that more on the center than anything else. Now this play, we've got this play. Ball's just a little far outside. I mean, it's landing. Technically, it's catchable. I always say leave space to the outside so you can adjust to the ball. That's just a little bit far. But we've got the play there. He's beat. You don't even need to put it that far outside. He's so far beat. But and then again, coming off the center, right here. penetration. I mean, if we want to keep this ball, which we should be able to do, this isn't a bad get off. We just need to stay attached here. We kind of pop them here, we're good. Then we got to stay attached because we're running 38 lead. So technically it's Roger blocking, but if he's going to the outside, you got to stay with him. Lead blocker, try to get on his outside hip, so your helmet's to his outside, so you can really set this hard edge. That's what will make this play go. If let's just say it is 38 lead and he decides he doesn't like what he sees and he just wants to run, which is a perfectly good option. We want our tight end or tackle, whoever this is, to be engaged and not just let this guy run off, and then our lead blocker to hit his outside, and then we've got an edge. And then, of course, we can't be getting run by on the inside, which happens to our center, and it happens to our guard. Both of you guys, outside gaps. We barely hold these guys up. And that's just too much. I mean, two guys through our line like that that's too much. Can't have success that way. We're running at this big hole again. We do a pretty good job, really. I mean, we've got bodies on bodies, and boy, I think we get this. I don't know what they're doing with their spot, so I mean, see where they end up spotting this. I mean, you can see the ball is almost on the 19. Well, it's blocked right here, but I think they gave it to him on the other side of or the 15 rather. So easily the ball should be on the plus side of the 15, somewhere close to the 14, and I think they're spotting it on the minus side, which, I mean, his butt goes down early, but that's not a spot you get like to see from home referees. Yeah, right there, his butt's sitting right on the line, which means the ball is going to be a little bit over the line. But they give it to us on the other side, which maybe that's still not enough for a first down, but they give it to us on the minus side of the line, which is pretty ridiculous. So we move the ball, we come down, we're close to scoring, come up short. It's a nice job. I mean, this is borderline too far upfield. In fact, I'm not even going to say borderline. It is. You've been doing a nice job, but now you're 2 yards, you're 3 yards, you're 4 yards. You're a little shallower than that. As always, they have the pulling guard. Linebacker should see that and fill right now. Charles is being blocked downfield, which is no good. But if you do like you were doing earlier and are a little bit more disciplined here, Jordan, then this is a much tighter squeeze to fit in. And if Charles isn't giving up so much ground... Oh, and by the way, almost forgot to mention this guy coming in way out of control and just gets pancaked. That's another way to make a big scene. So again, it's just, I mean, the team we're playing this week, with a wing tee, and the reads and traps that they're going to do, we're going to get killed if we get too far upfield. We're just going to get killed. So they're running the same thing the other way now. Missed the beginning of it, but you can already see Mal's making a nice read. This is a better job not being out of control, but you can't give up, well, you don't give up the outside. This is almost, you're not getting too far upfield, you're being driven back a little bit, because rather than being a yard upfield, you're 2 yards downfield. But better that than overrunning out of the play. And you miss a tackle, which is no good either, but still, it's only a 2 yard gain for them. Their passing set here. He's rolling right like he does. You're taking a good angle, Jordan. And we get a deflection and interception. Again, our coverage is good here. Is that off his hands or off Wesley's hands? I can't even see the... Guess that's off his hands. Yeah, so he could have caught that. Not that this coverage is terrible. I mean, he's close there. Especially from the safety spot. I mean, that's not an easy... You don't have a good angle for that cover. But that's a nice job being where you should be. And that's a gift. We've given them gifts, they've given us gifts. We play a good team. Okay, now this play. Looks like we're confused on the snap count, but we run it and it works to our advantage somehow. Because they're taken off guard. And we just use our speed, because it's a fullback dive, to get in here. Now this is what I was trying to explain to the ref here. I saw this the whole way. Nolan's arm is around this guy, which, that's why he called it. Looking at this in real time, I'm thinking, boy, this is a great job. Especially, makes me extra mad, because this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I want to see from receivers. I want to see effort downfield, this is the touchdown block. I mean, he blocks that guy. This is the guy who's going to make the play. It's the difference between a touchdown and not a touchdown. And he does exactly what I want him to do. He gets his body between himself and the ball carrier. His body's right in the right position. This guy's, if he tries to pull away and this arm is keeping him from doing that, then it's a hold. This is what I'm trying to explain to the ref. But the ref was an idiot, so he was not listening. Even though his arm's here, that doesn't make it a hold if his body's in the right position. But this guy's trying to fight over the top anyway. His arm's not doing anything. His arm might as well be behind his back, and this block still happens exactly the same way. It only becomes a hold if this guy tries to separate in the direction that he's being held, which it's not really being held. Nolan's arm is just kind of sitting there. So that should not be, and you can see, because look at the direction he's trying to get off. He's trying to get off this way, and as soon as he gets around Nolan's body, away he goes. There's nothing here that's a hold. And you just let him go, which you should, because you've already made the block. There's no sense in doing anything illegal. So that's just a stupid call. Makes me really mad, because that's just bad reffing. I mean, again, it's understandable, and so what I'd say is, fine. Next time, which you should know this, just put your arm somewhere else. Put it behind your back, because all you need to do is screen this guy, and he's still going to score. But you know that, which is why you let him go. But if you get that up so it doesn't look like a hold, you're going to be fine. But it looks like a hold even though it's not. Daddy! We still get a couple yards on the play, so it's 1st and 6 or something, I don't know. And we're getting a good field position, so let's go score. We run the same play the other way, which I shouldn't do. Again, I'm trying to keep track of this thing. I should be running at this big open space in their defense. It's my fault, but hey, we blocked this well. There's no penetration here. Look at us washing this guy 5 yards downfield. Well, I spoke too soon. This guy crosses the center's face. Again, his helmet needs to be on the proper side, and drags it down from behind. I mean, if we can keep right along this line, I mean, we're supposed to be running 21 here, which would be in here, but hey, we wash this down, we stay along this line. If this guy doesn't, that's a big play for us if that guy doesn't track it down from the backside. Still a good play for us. Still got a solid 3 yards. Nothing wrong with that. 2nd and short. Hard to know what's going on in there. But we gotta squeeze the ball tight. I mean, we're moving the pile. We're gonna get a first down here. So this is a nice play, but again, we gotta squeeze the ball. Because when there's in a pile, anybody, our team, their team, anybody's team, should be trying to rip at it. Doesn't look like anybody's down. The pile's still moving, so no whistle, and the ball squirts out. So it's a gift for them. It could be a killer, especially against a better team. It's a nice job, I think, by somebody in here. Cole, or no, it's Wesley. Almost getting the block, but yeah, he just misses it.
Go. Oh, yeah.
Good snap, good hold, he just misses it. So we're still up a point. Again, because of the nice job we did. Nice job we did on the first kickoff. Way to go get that. Almost have the edge. Be careful about... Well, I see what you're thinking here. I mean, it's a close... I was going to comment about not blocking behind the play. But no, I see why you're trying to go get that guy, and he just beats you a little bit with speed. That's hard to gauge. So, don't be afraid to just take this north and south. I mean, there's not... Well, there's a lot of white jerseys in here. I was going to say this sideline might not be a bad option too, but nothing wrong with what you're doing. Just need better bodies on bodies. We still have pretty decent field position up past the 30. So, I think we've got 8-3 going on here. Well, again, it's hard to... We're looking at... There's some kind of miscommunication. I'm not really sure. It looks like our tight end's running a 6. Again, I just don't know what I need to do for us to remember. I mean, I would think you'd want the ball, so you'd want to run your route and be available to catch the ball. I don't know why every single time our backside tight end's sitting there, when every single time in practice last week we were running this drag. So I don't know what we called play side. It looks like a 3, honestly. I thought this was 8-3. And the ball just needs to come sooner. The ball should come right on the break there, which, you know, he's kind of playing the inside. This would be better off if we're just running an 8. I don't think we've set it up well enough. He's open if he has a 6, but I'm not really sure if that's what was called. So we're going to hand it off up the middle to the fullback. This is not a good job by the tight end. That's Jeff. I mean, we're run blocking here. You just kind of stand up, you get popped, and I mean, that's not good. It's not good at all. Again, our center's being stood up. So our center and our tight end. You're just being stood up and shed. This is a nice double team here, but it's kind of all for naught because of the penetration here and here. Still, we drag him for a couple yards. Not a bad play, but now we got 3rd and 7. We get the sweep, we get the first down. Again, it's pretty well blocked, honestly. Tackle gets just enough of a piece of him that we beat him with speed. It'd be nice to get a little bit more of a piece of him. It looks like the tight end's finally doing what I want him to do. That's a great block right there. I mean, this guy eventually makes the play, but not until we already have 8 or 9 yards. Because he's just driving him downfield. I mean, it's tough to hold a block for longer than that. I'll take 7 or 8 or 9 yards. This lead blocker, it'd be nice to have a chip on here, but again, we barely beat him with speed. And we get a piece of that guy, which is also a big deal. So really a good play all around here. This is the way we need to execute that play every time. This is a great ball. Well, this isn't the one that's a perfect ball. This is a nice back shoulder, though. I don't know if it's intentionally so, because tackle, we gotta know. So this route combo, I think it's 2-8. So this is surprisingly well covered. And they got 2 guys up on here. One of them's the safety. Boy, if we wanted to run a post behind that, if their safety is going to come that hard up and play the tight end. But anyway, tackle, you got to know your tight end's leaving and that you got to get wide fast. This is your outside gap. We're blocking Roger. You've got to be responsible for outside gap. And that's it. So you need to get a piece of this guy, and then these guys will help you. But if you get a piece of him, what happens is you don't get any of them at all. So when they are helping you, he's already 5 yards in the backfield and in the face of our quarterback, making this a tough throw, which works out. But still, if you get a good piece of him, and then we're just setting the edge, our quarterback can just keep on floating out here and either hit this guy or this guy and have all kinds of time. Right now, he doesn't really have time. Still, nice job getting it out there for a playmaker who makes a good play on the ball. Nice job getting upfield with a busted play. I'm not sure what we have called here. But this is the point of the game, as if this guy's this much of a handful for you, you got to call for a double team. You got to have, I mean, look at these guys. We're running at this big empty hole here. We've got more guys than they do on this side of the ball. If we just double this guy with a guard and actually move him off the ball, we can still get an extra guy to this side and then have lead blockers as extras. And this defense is not sound. We should just rip this thing to shreds running into this vacant hole. Again, as you're getting manhandled here. He gets a little far upfield. And Wes, you got to keep your head on the ball. You bounce off this guy. You got to keep your head in the hole. Your head starts in the right place, but then you don't keep your hips working around. I've seen you block. I know you can do. I know you're athletic enough to work your hips around so that your butt is between your guy and the ball. But our lead blocker helps you out, and we get a really nice gain out of it. Well, not a really nice gain. We get an ugly 3 yards. Seems like we got more than that. Anyway. Now we're handing it off quick, which the reason these quick ones are working is because it's hitting so fast that their penetration isn't helping. So really, when we do this quick one, and keep in mind, we have to be faking the perimeter one. When we run this 21 quick, the fake is, well, if it's 21 quick, then it's the fake pitch. If it's just 21, it's fake quarterback option. So we got to keep that in mind, because it's not helping us that you're coming down here. Well, it might if there's a big jam up and you push the pile, but if you're out here, you're occupying the eyes of these guys back here, and they're less likely to be able to make a play. So hitting it quick, we're basically running right by this guy and this guy who have been causing problems for us, and we're getting 7 yards. I don't know what, I'm pretty sure I called sweep left. because I'm running to the wide side. I'm pretty sure this is 37 lead. So something was mixed up here because everybody's going right. So obviously something right was called. And then a bad pitch, and now we're way behind the chains because we just lost 15 yards or so. Puts us in a tough spot. But that's when you make a really nice throw. And that is a really nice throw. I don't know why this looks like a 6, because that shouldn't be. We wouldn't run a 6-8. We'd run a 2-8, where you come out in here, Wesley, and again, backside drag. Unless this is just a blue, which I don't know if this is 17 pass or just blue. If it's blue, then you should also be running a 2 or something, whatever. Maybe it's all 8s. I don't know. If it's all 8s, you still should be running an 8. But so we dig ourselves out of a big hole. Where does the guy come from? Oh, we tried it. Again, he's coming from the inside. He's that guy who's giving Ezra all kinds of trouble, which again... Yep, he's again just standing up Ezra. And if Jordan's later is a horse color, I don't know why the heck that isn't, but whatever. I mean, that isn't a horse color, but neither was Jordan, so... So we've got the slant on. I think that's the only route, except backside drag. Look, we're getting it. Or no. Sorry, this is 1 left, 8 right. That's why. Which I would think I told you to split out. I can't remember, but that's fine. I mean, there's no reason we can't run this from a tight end. If you throw this up here, over here, I mean, these guys, he's got all these guys beat. Nobody expects him to go deep. If you just launch this up, it's a touchdown right now to this guy. But that's fine. You're looking left. Because it looks pre-snap like he'll have it. Split this out more, though. You're wasting... If you're standing here, you have so much more room to work inside without these guys messing with you. Right now, he ends up having to thread it between all these guys. I mean, that's where we had the interception last time. We were running in here, and one of these guys undercut it, which he could have done. I mean, if this guy was number 40 who made the pick, and he's more athletic, he'd see this and undercut it and take it to the house. But if you're wider out here, because we actually are to the wide side of the field, then those guys don't come into play. That's a nice job. Normal, footwork, should be doing 3-step, but hey, I'll take it. So again, we told you before the play, run towards where the big hole is, which is right here. For some reason you decide to run away from it. But these guys, and this is a problem later, you guys need to get out and... I mean, let's look at the snap. You have every reason, when he says go, to go. So he says go, ball's coming, ball's in the air. Now he catches the ball. Now you decide to go. Why do you wait until now to go? You could have been going... I mean, you're the last person. The line's all late, as usual, but you go, the line's already all moving, and you still literally have not moved here. On go, go forward, because you're supposed to be a lead blocker here. And you should be going towards where that guy's going. Now, it still works out okay. We get a touchdown, but you're not helping our case. And we do this again later. It's really important, and there's no excuse for it. I mean, there's no reason you can't get out in front of this block, except if you just don't go when the ball is snapped, which is what you didn't do. So we finally get it in the end zone, and now, well, let's see who does block it. They both are going to block it.
So, first of all, cardinal rule, don't move your feet. Don't leave this gap unblocked. And you do. And what do? They go right through it. So that guy's going to block it. Need to get this little box out of the way. See who, it's right. Can I drag this around? Oh, look at that. Should have done that a long time ago. This is just not good. You have one job, and there's not even a lot of guys over here. They're not even trying to block from this. When you do a field goal block, you try to block from one side because you don't want guys running into each other. They're not even trying to block from this side. That's not in their game plan. But this is such a bad block that this guy just says, oh, okay, well, if you're not going to block me, I guess I'll go block the kick. I mean, these guys are literally both going to block it. And it's just simple missed assignments. If you hold your ground, force these guys to go wide, I mean, these guys aren't going to block it. They'd have too tough an angle. It's as simple as that. But you go outside wide. I mean, this... I don't know how many different ways I need to say this, but this is... I know I've said this 1,000 times, and it doesn't seem complicated to me. But now it bites us here, and potentially we can lose this game because of it. Because we can go take an 8-point lead and make it very difficult for them to come back and even tie it, let alone win it. Now we're late in the game. We get a big kickoff. We got a lot of guys dogging and slacking and jogging. And not this guy, though. This guy still wants to play. My kicker. He starts out behind everybody and outruns well, it's not the... Pretty sure he's faster than that, but I think he's made every tackle on kickoff. I think our kicker made every single tackle we had on kickoff. That's just a great blitz. This is how you should. This is how to blitz. When you blitz like this. Come flying in here, pick a guy. That's how to do it. So that's a good job. We should all be like that when we blitz. Call timeout. Again, that's how you blitz. The fact that they called a horse collar here is such a joke. You can see he's I don't even know what to say. This is one of the all-time worst calls I've ever seen in a football game. It's hard to imagine a worse call than that. I mean, he can see it. I don't know. That's just awful. But we all know that. Now, take a little bit of... I mean, you take a fine angle because you get him. That's how you know you took a fine angle. But if you took a little bit of a shallower angle, just a little bit, now you're making a good solid square up tackle that there's no way you're going to miss or get a bogus flag for. But all the same, nice job. I mean, it's a nice angle. You could have gone up here and gotten run around, but you took a nice angle. You could have made it a little bit safer for yourself and not risk missing that tackle. Again, this is how you blitz. Get ahead of steam and you go put a guy on his back. I mean, yeah, I know Malachi's a freak of nature, but more so than the fact that he's strong and athletic, that's just an attitude thing. And I think a lot of guys on our team are good enough to play like that. They just have the willingness to do it. So we get another really lousy break. Try to run the quick slant. If your head's a little bit more on a swivel jet, I mean, this is good coverage. It's almost impossible to guard a slant one-on-one if the quarterback has a clean pocket. I mean, that's as good as you can cover it. But if you've got your head a little bit more on a swivel, I mean, there's nobody back here, and you can kind of see that. Malachi would be the one to get out under this slant. So if you're a little bit further out on this side, who knows, maybe you get a pick six. But again, that's more of an instinct thing than an assignment thing. It's a nice job by Jeff. You still get too far upfield. Line of scrimmage is the 46. So 2 yards upfield is right here. 44. Right here where the cursor is. You get all the way up to 42, so you get 4 yards upfield. So again, it's a nice job, but you could be 2 yards nicer if you only got 2 yards upfield. You come flat down the line, you probably make the tackle for no gain instead of him kind of getting the edge and getting 4 yards. That's a really nice blitz too, especially from the corner. Especially corners and safeties, you guys can't, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier with some people blitzing, you can't slow up. You got to get yourself ahead of steam and go out there and get it. And now the safety's obviously on your man, which that's a tough route. It's a tough route to come up on from way back here if no one's leaving. But because his blitz was so successful, it was a terrible throw. This is just coming more under control. Again, Jeffrey. I mean, you don't have a chance of doing anything. You may as well just sit down. You literally would be doing more good for our defense if at the snap of the ball you sat down and didn't move, because at least you'd be taking up space. To go out here, you're literally doing nothing. I mean, that's just so far upfield. Yeah, I know he's passing, but you still got to close it down. When you get to about here, I mean, this, I would say even more so like here. You've got to close it down so you have a chance of getting at the quarterback. You go all the way up here, I mean, what good are you doing? And be careful taking it inside. I say when you miss to the outside, but it'd be better if you just didn't miss. So, I mean, it's Christian's fighting off a double team. I mean, it's a pass rush, so this isn't, as much as we could have done better on the line, this is not really a bad job. Because we're dropping deep in his zone, we're playing coverage. I mean, that's tough to defend. We just missed tackles. We had every opportunity to get there, and we didn't get there. So, oh, they're coming back to run. That's a really nice fill from depth. It's a nice job. That's just, again, it looks like everybody on the field is kind of tired, and Malachi is making aggressive decisions. And coming through and making key stops. I don't know how many times I've screamed screen this game, but hello, all 4 guys getting in that easy. It's a screen. It's the only guy who gets blocked. Even he doesn't really get blocked. I don't know if he's probably just stopping because of the whistle. But you got to be alert to this, because this could be a huge play. Hard to say because they whistle it dead because we're offsides, which I think your foot is just in the neutral zone. Boy, that looks close. It's hard to see from this angle, obviously. But that looks pretty darn close. Just so they're trying to run this little play to the other side, which is why you're unblocked. and see the ball on the ground, go get it. Pretty simple. Having seen the screen just a minute ago, we should do a better job being aware of it. These three guys, especially seeing this guy run past him, and I know I'm yelling screen on the sideline. So even if this guy, I don't know if that's Mal or, I guess that's probably, or is that Ez? It's Ez. Ez looks like he's sniffing it out. And that's really who should be. I mean, it's the nose guard's job to stay around on middle screen. But, they've got a lot of blockers and our linebackers, so it's close, because Ez could miss that tackle, and that could be a tough play for us. Now he thinks he's going to run again. We're a little bit more disciplined. We still got to get a pass rush here, but our end's got a little bit wise to it. So, I mean, it'd be nice if we could strike a nice, but this seems too far on the relaxed side. But at least we're getting pressure from somebody. Our interior both get good pressure, so that's a huge stop to get the ball back. Alright, now this play. Landon, you played a great game. Did a lot of good things, but you probably know it already. This is maybe your worst play. First of all, I believe I said beforehand, this guy is going to be wide open. And lo and behold, he's wide open. Nolan's caught a couple passes, he's motioning across, everybody sees him. You can see all these guys, even this guy's, he's not looking at this guy, he's looking at Nolan. Even this guy who's guarding him is maybe not even looking at Nolan. So, one point of order. It's tough going to the short side too. We need to get downhill more, and we should work, I think we have worked on this, but we should work on it more. Lead blockers, get down right to the other side of the tackle and set this edge hard. So you're not catching back here. Second point, as I said earlier, more depth, less width. I always say depth and width, and you're getting both. You got more depth than you did last time. So really it's not quite as bad a job. It looks like you have the chance to throw it. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, I know this isn't easy. And we could have gotten a better lead block, and we could have gotten... I mean, our lead blockers have to be more downhill than lateral. But if we get this off, he'd still be running, man. There's nobody behind. I mean, he's got 2 yards on this guy. Just launch this thing down the sideline as far as you can throw it. He's going to run under it. Oh, man. It's especially frustrating because I knew it. I knew it beforehand. This to me was the perfect call. It was the perfect call to get this guy out here. And so I wanted you to be looking at him, but we don't. And the last thing we wanted to, I mean, we need a first down here. We get a first down, we pretty much win. So the last thing we want to do is take a 20-yard sack. And it's a 15-yard sack. So now we've got ourselves in a big hole. I think we have 2-8. This is blue. Yeah, this is blue 2-8. Look who's open again. Oh man, I didn't notice this one. I knew the last play he was open. But I also say, you know, pick a side. So if we're blue here, which I don't know if we are, if this is blue 2-8, I can't honestly remember what it was called. If it's blue 2-8, we got to be taking a 3-step drop. We got to be getting back to here. hopefully got to be seeing this guy because it doesn't get much more open than that. I mean, that's where you get an easy 80-yard touchdown throw. That's good for your stats. Because, man, there's no respect for this guy here. And he's a pretty good receiver, so boy, oh boy, be nice to hit him. If it's 17 pass, this receiver, who was wide open, should be running a drag because he doesn't have a chance of getting the ball if you're sprinting out this way. And if you're sprinting out this way, you got to get depth and width. You got to get way back here. Because look who else is wide open, especially if you get it right now. Try to get it to him late, but by that, I mean, you get it to him now, turns the corner, you get a block here. Man, we still might pick up this first down. But now we get an incomplete pass.
Now we're in 3rd and forever. And we're just trying to get some yards. And once again, this number 70 here gets right past our center and makes the play. Everything else is blocked up pretty well. And if we block that guy, it looks like we've got a decent play here. I don't know about 41. Not sure why it looks like we're passing him up for some reason. Running 34, we're not, I think. Yeah, we're running 34, so we're not reach blocking and passing inside gap off. But the seam would be in here if we had blocked 70. This is a play. This game at this point, a couple minutes to go, we're up a touchdown. It's ours to lose. This is the play we're going to lose it on if we're not careful. And I've got 11 guys on the field, and not one bothers to point out that this looks nothing like the punt formation that we usually practice. We have 2 guys on this side of the center, 4 guys on the other side of the center, and nobody playing wing. So we've basically got, 9 guys on the line of scrimmage, and nobody angled back to create any sort of pocket. So we're overloaded here. They almost get it. Ironically, they almost get it from the side that we're overloaded to, which is probably partially due to the fact that this punter had to step that way, because we are overloaded that way, and partially due to the fact that we're not wing. This guy, our wing, which should have been, was not lined up as a wing. So he changes the angle a little bit there. Anyway, our punter does an excellent job getting that away. That's an extremely clutch play, because if that gets blocked, we almost definitely lose or go to overtime. And then this is a big missed tackle here. If we give up a big return here, that's also a problem. It doesn't look like we're fanning out and staying in our lanes. If he gets to this edge, it looks like he's gone. He doesn't run that way, but boy, look at how much green grass is over here with 2 blockers creating a wall. If this had been slightly different and this guy had tried to take this edge, I think he would have probably made a house call on that return. So, frankly, I think we get pretty lucky to get a clean punt off without getting blocked or tipped, and to make this tackle and give them an actually at least half a field to have to go to tie this up. So that underscores the importance of special teams. We're overrunning the play. This guy who's been solid for us all game overruns it, our defensive end. Blitzing backer. Well, he's blitzing, and he's blitzing aggressively, which is what we want to see. What should he see? This pulling guard coming this way. He should throttle down and follow him, because he should even when he's blitzing, he should see that. So he should see this guy, throttle down, follow him, then he makes the play in the backfield, which we do anyway. But Again, thanks in large part to Nolan and Charles getting off a block. So that's a good play for us, even though we kind of overran it a little bit. All hitch. Not bad coverage. Come up and make a tackle. 6 or 7 yards for them. It's a tough route to cover. That's one that most teams can get every once in a while. Now you almost create the unforgivable sin. They just ran a hitch before, so now maybe you're thinking you're going to come up and play the hitch aggressively. Whew, you can't whiff that bad. That guy's got a. Again, we're lucky. This is just straight up lucky. I mean, he's got 2 or 3 yards on us, and we're lucky that he doesn't catch that and take it all the way. And again, we lose or they take it to overtime. That's one step away, and I bet that guy's up all night thinking about that after it, because he's thinking they win if he makes that, if he's a step faster. Quick out. Again, this is not so easy to. Well, that's not even an out. That's like a whip route, pigtail. Call it. That's a hard one to defend, especially if they have time to let it develop. But you get them out of bounds and minimize the gain. That's a nice play for them, and it's not that bad by our pass rush. I mean, we're getting off, and that's just a well executed route, throw, and catch. Now they're going to try to run it again, and it looks like their O-line at this point is just gassed. Follow this pulling guard, though. It looks like you want to follow him. You get there eventually, and you make the tackle. And it looks like our line, but well, I don't know, that you still can be reacting faster to the pulling guard. And there they come back to that slant, which, we talked about earlier. They completed it earlier. It's tough to guard but this is why, if the offense is going to run little hitches and slants and get 5 yards, 4 yards, 7 yards a crack, and they want to try to do that all the way down the field, oftentimes they can do that for a while, but they make a little mistake, throw a little bit off. I mean, it's there. If he puts it right on his chest, they get 5 yards again, and it's hard to guard. But they made a little mistake. Throws a little bit off, and boom, game over. We've got the pick. All we need is a first down, and we can ice it. So this is where we want to put it on the shoulders of the O-line, and it's that number 70 making the play again and again and again. This guy must have had 20 tackles. We should have been double teaming him a long time ago. I mean, I don't blame Ezra for that necessarily. We have to somehow communicate a plan to stop that guy, and I'm not realizing that he was the main game wrecker until watching the film. I didn't really know this on Saturday because it's hard to tell this from the sideline. So that's something I'd really like to know as the game progresses. Because by now we should have game planned for that and have a way to contain that guy. So now we're going direct snap. I want you out in front of this, Landon. We talked about this. As soon as the snap of the ball goes, you need to be getting downhill right now. You don't need to wait to see if he catches it. You need to get out in front of it. Because right now, if you're not doing it, I want you to fake the other way, like the snap got away from you. And we've run it enough times that it's really not going to fool anybody. But if you're not going to get in front of it, I want you to roll out this way so you're at least freezing people. But chasing the play doesn't really do us any good at all. Did he It's interesting. I mean, this is like a slide tackle. You're generally not allowed to do that, but he did it so far ahead of time. If you slide tackle somebody and hit him anywhere with your lower body, that's a tripping penalty, but I guess he kind of tripped over his upper body, so I don't know if that applies. Anyway, 3rd and 5, we get this first down. Game over. We want to be running at this hole here. Again, same thing. We're wasting these guys. These guys are supposed to be lead blockers who are going to get in there and move the pile. Again, at 70, getting penetration. And he just grabs your face mask and pulls your helmet off, man. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice job staying attached, because, I mean, if he runs by you and stays attached and you don't stay attached to him, then maybe he can make the tackle. But because you're still driving him, he doesn't really have any choice, and he just grabs the face mask, pulls it off. Everyone sees it. You'd have gotten the first down anyway. But, you know, game's on the line here. We got to run this right. You guys need to get into this mix, and because if you're, look, the ball's in the air. You guys should already be. You guys should be moving right now. So should the line, for that matter. But you guys are later than even. I mean, I've been criticizing the line for the last several weeks about how slow they are getting off on the snap count. You guys are even slower. You're several frames behind. The line's already moving. Line's moving, and you guys don't move till here. Line's moving here. You guys are moving here. I don't know how you can be slower than the line, but I don't think there's any good excuses for that. They should also whistle that play dead as soon as the helmet comes off, as far as I'm aware. But okay, so the reason I got all bent out of shape on this is because when there's 2 minutes left, 40-second clock, you have 3 downs, and there was 2 minutes left. There was 2 minutes and 4 seconds, I think. So I'm thinking we need every single second we can get. I was forgetting about the fact that I wasn't including the 40 seconds that were rolling from the last play, so really we had it 40 seconds extra. So I thought when you snap this early, that you're ruining our whole chances of being able to kneel down, and I thought we'd have to end up punting it away and giving them the ball back, which is why I'm screaming my head off from the sideline to just stop. It looks like Jeff's... Look, if you see me yelling stop, please tell Landon to stop, because the clock's running here, and you snap it right as the play clock starts. So we can burn 40 extra seconds off. Obviously, again, we're 40 seconds ahead, so it doesn't matter. But if we weren't, then you make a huge mistake by snapping it early. And that's, again, that could be the difference in winning and losing, because you'll give them the ball back with 30 seconds if that's the case. But again, we had 40 seconds extra that I wasn't counting on, so... Anyway, first game quarterback. They're simulating the snap count. You can't do that. That's a personal foul, so we end up having more than 40 seconds because they're going to give us a first down here. Wait for this guy to start counting. Then you can start getting set. And also verify, pretty sure he counts off the last 10 seconds, but verify that it's 5 or 10. Anyway, that wraps that up. Nice game.